My mom, she's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. They've even told her she doesn't have much time left. What do I do?
Yeah.
As I choked back tears while sharing the news about my mom, my husband hardly looked up from his mobile phone, just offering a casual reply. I couldn't hide my anger at his indifferent reaction, but I hadn't approached him to vent my anger. I want to spend her last days with her. I want her to live here with us. I promise she won't be a burden.
What? No way. If we're around someone close to death, they might drain our energy too, haha.
Why doesn't she just spend her last days in a hospital? They have plenty of dying people there for her to be with, haha.
Well, I guess if she stays in the attic, I might let it slide.
The two of them laughed while rejecting the idea of my terminally ill mother moving in. Despite knowing she didn't have much time left, they didn't want to help, not even a bit. Half a year had passed since that day when my mother passed away. I was drowning in sorrow. A void had opened in my heart, and I was numb to the world. Then one day, my husband said he needed to talk.
My mother has been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
So what? You were the ones who abandoned my mom when she needed us. Now let them taste the same pain. I'm a 30-year-old housewife. I became one shortly after marrying my current husband, and it's been 2 years since then. Originally, I was working and wanted to continue even after marriage. However, since my husband wanted kids and earned a good salary at a big company, it was decided I would be a housewife. I kept the house perfectly and was trying for a baby. I redirected my work enthusiasm into managing our home and was leading a somewhat fulfilling life. But there was something that bothered me. My mother-in-law, who often visited. Hello? Oh, you haven't done your laundry yet? It seems you haven't vacuumed either. What have you been up to all morning? I'm sorry, I had to visit the city office this morning. Let me make you some tea. Please have a seat. I'd prefer coffee. Don't you have coffee? We do, but it's just instant coffee. Really? You're going to serve me instant coffee? Can't you just run to the store and grab some freshly brewed one? Without any prior notice, she would just show up, criticize my housekeeping, and even have me run errands. I often wondered if she was naturally bossy or if she was just out to get me. I was constantly stressed by my mother-in-law's presence. Being a homemaker meant I was often at home, so naturally I bumped into her frequently. I couldn't avoid her due to work commitments, and it was quite distressing. Living nearby meant she could pop in anytime she wanted, and I always had to be on guard. I had to ensure everything was perfect, so she wouldn't have any complaints, which was mentally exhausting. The thought of living this way forever was stressful on its own. Then one day, as usual, my mother-in-law came over in the morning. She followed me around as I did my chores, finding fault in everything. Apologizing, I redid the chores as she instructed, hoping she would leave soon. Just then, my cell phone rang. I thought it was perfect timing to escape her criticism and answered immediately. Hello?
Hello? Come to Tufts Medical Center immediately. Your mother's been urgently admitted.
I was at a loss for words. At first, I thought it might be a prank call, but the voice on the other end was clearly an adult's. As I stumbled for words, they informed me my mom had collapsed at work and was rushed to the hospital. My mom, turning 67 this year and living alone, was still working part-time. She had always said she felt young and healthy, so this call caught me completely off guard. My mom has collapsed. I need to go to the hospital. Hold on a minute. You're just going to leave me here? It's summer. Maybe she just got a little heat stroke. Isn't it a bit premature to be so concerned? Don't be ridiculous. I'm going to the hospital now. Excuse me. I was irate that my mother-in-law showed no concern, but I rushed to the hospital. Thankfully, by the time I arrived, my mom had regained consciousness. Seeing her smile when she saw me made me feel a little better. A weight was lifted off my shoulders. I took a deep breath, relieved she was okay. I was so scared when I heard you'd collapsed. I'm sorry for worrying you. I've been lacking sleep lately, maybe, that's why. But don't worry, I'll take better care of myself. I'm just glad you're okay. But do take care of yourself, all right? As always, seeing Mom's cheerful face brought a wave of relief over me. But watching her, I realized that while she was trying to appear upbeat, age was starting to take its toll. When I'd gotten the call that she'd collapsed, a terrifying thought crossed my mind. What if she never woke up? So, when she regained consciousness, my relief was immense. Mom had to be hospitalized for a short while and undergo comprehensive medical tests. I've been so preoccupied with work and hadn't been too vigilant about her health. This was a wake-up call. I needed to be there for her. A week after the tests, during one of my visits, Mom dropped a bombshell. They finished all the tests, and they found cancer. What? It's advanced. They don't think I have more than a year. I might stay here for a bit, but if there's no chance of recovery, I think I'd rather skip the painful treatments and spend my days at home. Mom said this in her usual manner, but I was at a loss for words. I struggled to hold back tears, unable to speak, but I thought there's still time, and I decided to focus on making the most of our remaining days together. That evening, oh, mother-in-law, you're still here. Is that a problem? Well, I have something to say. I just came back from the hospital. They found advanced cancer in Mom. They think she might not have more than a year left. My voice trailed off. I felt crushed. My breathing became erratic, bordering on hyperventilation. And yet, my husband seemed engrossed in his mobile phone, oblivious. After taking deep breaths, I gathered myself and continued. I want to be with Mom for her final days. We won't cause any trouble. Can she stay with us?
You want someone on death's door in our house? Absolutely not. It's unsettling.
Why not let her stay in a hospital? There are plenty of dying people there. She'll fit right in, haha.
Well, if it's the attic, I might consider.
The two of them casually made these remarks as I desperately tried to hold back tears. In that moment, the trust I built with my husband and the rapport with my mother-in-law crumbled. What do these people think of life? Are their own feelings the only ones that matter to them? I never thought he could be this heartless. I clenched my fist, struggling to control the urge to hit him right then and there. You never said it would be a bother. I'll take care of everything if she needs help. Mom can live in my bedroom. I won't be a burden to you at all.
It's not about that. It seems you have a bizarre taste in wanting to be around someone on the brink of death, but I don't share that. Shouldn't she be in a hospital anyway?
Picky patients say they want to spend their final days at home. Why not just leave her in a hospital? You have duties as a housewife. Caregiving is too much for you. I felt like I was about to snap if I talked to them any longer. Without another word, I stormed out of the house. The door slammed behind me loudly enough that they would know just how angry I was. But knowing that, I doubt it would change how they feel. My heart felt like a complete mess with sadness about Mom's prognosis and the anger and hatred I felt towards those two. I went straight to the hospital and told Mom everything they had said. I see. I'm sorry for putting you through that. Well, they sound irresponsible, but I do have some savings and will get a pension, so I won't burden you financially. I'd be happy if you visited me once a week. I won't come just once a week. I'll be there every day. When I said that, Mom gave me a warm smile. I really wanted to leave that house and live with Mom, but as a housewife, I had no means of making money. Even with Mom's savings and pension, it wouldn't be enough for the both of us. If I were to live with Mom, getting a job was the bare minimum, but there was a reason I couldn't. I had missed my period for a month. Before we found out about Mom's terminal illness, I had been intimate with my husband. I might have gotten pregnant during that time. I think I might be pregnant.
Really? That's amazing. So we're finally having a baby. This means I'm going to be a father. I'm so happy.
While my husband was ecstatic about the pregnancy, the joy didn't last. 6 months later, Mom passed away. It hit me like a train, and I was overwhelmed with grief. Tears streamed down my face, and all I could do was cry uncontrollably. No matter how much I cried, Mom wasn't coming back. For the sake of the child I was expecting, I tried to move on from the grief. As months passed, my belly grew, and I gave birth to a boy. He felt like Mom reincarnated, and tears of joy flowed from my eyes. However, a month after he was born, my husband contacted me.
My mom, she's been hospitalized. They found terminal cancer. She's been given a limited time.
I was in shock and couldn't find the words to respond. I bet my husband feels just like I did 6 months ago. Suddenly learning that his own mother is terminally ill, he's probably lost and confused.
We've just had our baby, and I know it's bad timing, but I'll be taking care of Mom at our place. So, I need you to help with moving preparations and everything.
With that, he hung up the phone. Is he serious? If he is, this is incredibly presumptuous. I've thought about divorcing him multiple times. Maybe now's the time. I prepared the divorce papers, placed them on the table, packed my stuff, and left the house. I planned to stay at a relative's place for the time being, but that night my husband called.
Hey, what's the deal with these divorce papers?
What do you mean, what's the deal? I'm divorcing you.
Are you kidding? My mom is going through such a tough time. Stop with the nonsense.
Did he forget what he said to me? He doesn't seem to remember what he said when my own mom was terminally ill. So I decided to remind him with his own words. I don't fancy living with someone who's nearing the end. She's not my family. If you want to care for her, do as you please.
Seriously? Cut it out.
You told me the same thing, remember? When my mom needed us, you abandoned her. So you can't complain when it's your turn. I replied. He went silent. Well, I'm not wrong. I guess he can't argue with that.
But I can't deal with you just acting on your own. Come home and let's talk. If I hire a detective, I know where you are in no time. So don't even think about running away.
I hadn't expected him to go this far. Knowing him, he might actually do it. I was scared of him stalking me, and also concerned for our child. So I decided to return home. The moment I stepped inside and met my mother-in-law's gaze, she turned beet red and started yelling. How dare you? What do you think you're doing, leaving like that? You devil! I just thought it's quite normal not to want to live with someone who's nearing the end. You felt the same way, remember?
Shut up. Don't be disrespectful. After all the betrayals, don't you feel anything? I've never relied on your mother, but think of how much you owe me and my son. After considering that, isn't it natural to provide care?
Did all the time she tormented me count as owing her? The one who took advantage of me was my husband, not the other way around. It angered me that they couldn't even understand such a simple fact. But I hadn't come back to this house just to be insulted by these two. Well, whatever. There are only two reasons I'm here today. First, just like you didn't help me, I won't be helping you. And second, I'll be seeking compensation for the affair.
What?
Excuse me, affair? When I talked about wanting to live with my mom, you were glued to your phone, right? I caught a glimpse of your screen then, saw lots of heart emojis and wondered. I didn't check right away because I was mentally drained at the time. My husband looked stunned, his mouth agape, clearly not expecting to be confronted about his affair. Mother-in-law glared at him for cheating, and the atmosphere in the room immediately turned tense. Seeing that expression on their faces felt so satisfying. Inside I thought, serves you right. Why would I help someone who's betrayed me like that? If you won't grant me a divorce, I'm okay taking it to court. And I'll make sure you pay the compensation and child support. You won't see our son again. I won't ever show my face around you two again. The two of them were in shock. They'd been so happy when our child was born, probably considering him just as precious, if not more so, as themselves. But I can't let my beloved son be around someone who cheats and disregards human life.
I'm sorry about the affair, but how are you planning to live on your own? The compensation won't come immediately.
I don't need it right away. I have my mom's life insurance money, which is enough for now. I'm not stupid enough to divorce without a plan. It seems like he was trying to use my potential financial struggles against me at the last minute, but he was sorely mistaken. Considering the affair and our son's age, I'm almost certain I'd get custody. Once we're divorced, I won't have to care for my mother-in-law anymore. I'll finally be free from them. A deep-seated hatred had been lifted from my heart, and I felt truly refreshed. After laying everything out, I left the house. I later consulted a lawyer about the compensation and child support, and successfully filed for divorce. But half a year later, my ex-husband somehow found out where my relatives lived and came visiting. Why are you acting like a stalker? It's creepy.
Please, I'm begging you. It's been a month since you left, and the strain of caring for her is killing me. I miss our son. The stress is causing me to make mistakes at work, and I'm struggling financially. Please, I'm truly sorry. Help me.
Only a month had passed since then, but my husband looked like he'd aged a decade. I could instantly see he was under immense stress. But just because he stressed, did he think I would let my guard down? There was a rule when we divorced, remember? You promised not to come near us. If you can't even keep that promise, I'll call the cops.
Cops?
Just stay out of our lives. With that, I slammed the front door shut. The mere mention of the police frightened my ex-husband. He went away obediently and never approached us again. Yet, thinking it was enough just not to meet face to face, he kept trying to contact me. It was so annoying that I deleted his contacts and explained our divorce story to mutual friends. After that, he stopped trying to reach out via friends, and it seems most of our acquaintances cut ties with him. He was already living under heavy stress from caregiving and paying child support and compensation to me. This only added to his burden, pushing him to a breaking point mentally. He made a significant mistake at work, got demoted, and his salary was considerably reduced. But his payments to me remained unchanged. He tried his best, cutting back on his living expenses. After coming back from work, he took care of his mother, did his cooking and chores, and by the time he was finished, it was already midnight with work waiting the next morning. My ex-husband led a life with absolutely no breaks, losing weight rapidly. It seems he deeply regrets what he did to me. On the other hand, my beloved son and I rented a new place and started our second life. For my mother watching over us from heaven, I intend to lead a joyous life with my son. That's the best way I can honor her memory.